All right. Hello, my friend. So, this video is the start of what I am calling Riverstone University, or in other words, my attempt to design and execute a rigorous practice of self-study and training of the body, mind, and soul in service to the benefit of all beings. And I'll share a little bit about what is behind this before getting into what does it actually look like right now. For the past number of years, I have tried to learn as effectively as possible by following my curiosity and resonance and aliveness. And in that process, I have encountered incredible, life-changing ideas and practices, and people and friends. And I have largely failed to execute on my most desired creative projects, and I have ultimately failed thus far to actually learn and organize what I am learning in any kind of coherent, structured, reliable, and enduring way. And I've looked into stuff like the second brain of Tiago Silva and Inner Tiago Forte and various practices. So I want to finally take responsibility for learning effectively, efficiently, to improving, and just living with more honesty. I want to live my life with more honesty. And I want to be able to say that at the end of the day, I have done everything I can to the best of my ability in alignment with my values. I want to be able to say I've done everything I can. I've lived my fullest life today. And I want to have that not be this like fractured attention thing with like just little bits. I want sustained, enduring clarity of focus and an increasing quality of work, an increasing quality of capacity to do hard work, to do real scholarly work, real physical work, real spiritual work, real social work, and to show up reliably. And I need some way to support that. I need a structure. Because now I have the intention. I am going to become more effective, efficient, reliable, and organized so that I can better live in service to the benefit of all beings, in service of love, in liberation, and the flourishing of all beings. This is the goal. So, what I will share with you now is my first draft of this academic proposal to myself, for myself, by myself. Here it goes. All right. Over the course of the next 9 months, I will have, on average, 3 hours of free time each day, which is something like 400 hours of self-practice. Now, I want to dedicate and devote this time well, specifically in service of love, liberation, and the flourishing of all beings, or said another way, towards the clarification and realization of my deepest desires. Along the way, I want to grow increasingly more organized, effective, focused, and responsible. So, winning in this sense means being able to say that I did everything I possibly could towards these goals at the end of the day. And that feels like something. That feels like that lovely, complete exhaustion. When you finally settle into bed, after one of those magic days of just like non-stop flow, this dance between openness and focus and spontaneity and responsibility. This is like a sublime blend of joy and appreciation and wonder and just awe and resolve to ground it all. Sense of clarity, of direction. I want to grow in confidence every day. That's what I want. How do I do that? How do I trust my own mind? How do I grow in confidence each day? A few more articulations of what I want. I want to live from my center, to walk with a bare heart, to throw myself in fully, and to maintain my practice of embodied mindfulness 24/7 with no gaps. Furthermore, I will reach stream entry, and I will meet and love outrageously great numbers of the most courageous, sincere, joyful, and heart-centered people in the world. And we will together dance, laugh, cry, and build, release, and save the fucking world. Now, how will we do this in a reliable, grounded, honest, and self-reflective way? That is where this system comes in, as structure that organizes and guides both my study and writing towards the realization of that goal. The structure that I'm developed is the following pieces, which is basically, first, what I am calling a milieu log, a log of all the information coming into my mind system, which is through platforms like Twitter primarily, also Substack, and also snippets of conversation. Whatever resonates in the moment goes into the milieu log. At the end of the week, there's a weekly reflection, okay, to review the milieu log and then move those pieces into dialogue with the greater living body of work that I have accumulated, cultivated online, that is slowly coming into more and more alignment with the goals I've stated here. So we have the milieu log, we have the weekly reflection, we have a practice of writing evening pages, or a daily journal, and we have sort of a monthly presentation. At the end of every month, I want to challenge myself to kind of have a forcing function to not just consume, right? I want to move from passive consumption and force myself to actually articulate a synthesis of what I am processing and learning and looking at, and go through that journey of from consumption into integration into articulation. And I want that forcing function every month for everything I'm looking at. So that now brings us to the question of what are we looking at, right? A side note, I have some major projects to focus on, but maybe this is not the time for that. We'll put a pause. What I'm looking at includes readings and practices. Now, I'm currently training at Maple for the next 9 months. That's the context of Monastic Academy. There's a set course of learning within that, and then there's the limited self-practice I've mentioned. Here is what is coming into the mind then. Through Maple, we have practice of Zazen for 3 hours a day, sitting meditation, purification of the mind. We have an hour of Buddhist chanting. I began a very small and simple practice of Qigong hitting 36 times in various places. I have responsibilities like cooking and cleaning, buildings and grounds, painting, so on. And I'm starting to run a small Monday crew of friends who want to engage in this mutually supportive and honest self-reflective work together. I also want to start a letter writing practice, like handwriting letters, sending them out to people that I care about and to people that I don't know but admire. And I specifically want to work on posture and energy in this neck in particular. So I'm looking into both core and lower back strengthening exercises, as well as perhaps taking Michael Ashcroft's Alexander Technique course. Again, this the desired practices has to fit into the day in these few hours of self-practice. Maple stuff is kind of set. Through Maple, currently studying the 10 stages of enlightenment as our text. And we also have just gone to the board meeting of the Center for World Philosophy and Religion, which is bringing forth this new story of value called Cosmo-Erotic Humanism by Mark Gaffney and Zach Stein, or also known as David J. Temple. That's a huge can of worms. I'm going to stop it there because I've already totally overshot my attempt to keep this under 5 minutes. So, where are we? We've talked about the intention, we've talked about the structure, and we're looking now at what am I doing with my time and energy? What are the practices and what are the text? I'm just going to throw the rest out, mostly for myself. If you're here still, it's cool. I love you. You're fucking fantastic and needed in this universe, and you are truly a cosmic hero in this life. That's how I see you, and I love you. So let's just say that. Now, just back to, for the sake of following through, I'm also reading a book called The Path to Samadhi by Harada Roshi, teacher of Sogenji. I'm reading Buddhism for All by my teacher, Soryu For All. I'm reading The Glass Bead Game by Hermann Hesse, which is this really interesting philosophical, sort of monastic fictional story set in the future. And now I have a list of desired lineage learnings. These are like kind of key source text or places I want to go for learning next, and I'm just trying to figure out, how do I do this all? What do I prioritize? How do I actually stick with something? How do I work with it effectively? How do I not just pick up something and drop it? Like, how do I not have the attention span of a goldfish, basically? How do I learn in a deliberate, intentional, and like aligned way for the vision for the future and sensitivity to the now? It's such a fucking hard question. So let me know if you have thoughts. Here's what I want to look into and learn. We have Ian McGilchrist, The Matter with Things. Mike Levin, biologist times more. Don't know much about him, but very curious. Mark Gaffney. He's introduced me to Hebrew ecstatic prayer the past few days. I'm loving it. He has a book called First Principles and First Values I want to read. We're like at 4 now. A book called Radical Kabbalah, which is about the wisdom of Solomon, I want to read. Also, other names mentioned by Mark Gaffney include Skinner, Aldous Huxley, and Perennial Philosophy, and another person I learned of recently called Forrest Landman. So all told, we're looking at like 8, and I haven't mentioned everything, so 2 full hands of dense philosophy and spiritual study. And I also want to begin writing, or sort of digging the well of a core group of friends and companions, and just more intentionally and deliberately reaching out through letters and emojis and just general correspondence with the people that I love and admire. I want to be, collaborative peers with on this journey, which is probably you if you're watching this. So this is absurdly long now. I will stop it here, and I will do better with the next weekly review. I kind of went in for all of it here, but this is the nutshell of what I want to do in creating like Riverstone University, is like a container for self-guided spirit study, or another way of saying that is a container for spirit-guided self-practice and study of the world and my place in it, dedicated to love, liberation, and the flourishing of all beings. So, thank you humbly if you sat through this with me. Share your thoughts, any suggestions perhaps based on those readings, or any sources that have been highly inspirational or influential to you. I'd love to hear about something recent, if anything's like cracked your world, and I'd also love to hear about what's like the most exciting or load-bearing work that you've encountered. And then also just how do you learn in a disciplined, self-organized way? How do you structure this across time? How do you trust your own mind and build this practice of reliable growth, learning? I don't know, but we're trying all the way in. With love.